Greetings to everyone. So today we were talking about the data types, assigning values, expressions, and so on about this Flutter or Dart programming language. So first we have number. So Dart number comes in two subtypes. We have integers and double. So integers are numbers without a decimal point. Integer values no longer than 64 bits depending on the platform. Double 64-bit floating point numbers as specified by the IEEE 754 standard. If a number includes a decimal, it is a double. So both int and double are subtypes of num. The num type includes the basic operators such as addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Second is we have string. A Dart string hold a sequence of UTF-16 code units. Third one, which is the booleans. To represent boolean values, Dart has a type named bool. Only two objects have type bool, the boolean literal true and false, which are both compile time constant. So the fourth one, we have list. Perhaps the most common collection in nearly every programming language is the array, or ordered group of objects. In Dart, arrays are list of objects. So most people just call them list. The fifth one, we have sets. Sets in Dart is an unordered collection of unique items. Dart supports for sets in provide by set literals and the set types. So the sixth one, we have maps. In general, a map is an object that associates keys and values. Both keys and values can be any type of object. Each key occurs only once, but you can use the same values multiple times. Dart supports for maps in providing by map literals and the map type. So the seventh one, we have runes and grapheme clusters. In Dart, runes expose the Unicode code points of a string. You can use the characters package to view or manipulate user-perceived characters, also known as Unicode grapheme clusters. Unicode defines a unique numeric value for each letter, digit, and symbol used in all the world's writing systems. Because a Dart string is a sequence of UTF-16 code units, expressing Unicode code points within a string requires special syntax. So we have the last one, which is the symbol. A symbol object represents an operator or identifier declared in a Dart program. You might never need to use symbols, but they are invaluable for APIs that refers to identifier by name because minification changes identifier names but not identifier symbols. So that's all you need to know about the data types. And to understand the different variable or data types in Dart, let's proceed to assigning values to them. Assigning values to variables in Dart is similar to any other programming language. So we have here number. So the two subtypes of number, which is integers and doubles. First one, integer, uses int to create a variable. So the example one we had here, int x equals 1. And the other way, we have int y, then semicolon, then y equals 6, semicolon. So these two examples may work. It is depend on you on how you declare your variables. So we have here double, uses double, small letter d to create a variable. So the same as the integers. So using num variables will store both integer and double. So using num, always remember, we'll store both integers and double. So we have here the example, num x equals to 3. So this is an integer. And num y equals to 9.8, which is equals to double. So the next one, num z equals to x plus y, which is the integer plus double, equals to z with the value of 12.8. So the value of the z will be the double because we have the decimal point. Next one, we have string. So string uses either single quotation or double quotation to initialize a string variable. So string s1 equals to single quotation work well for string literals. And the second one, we have the string s2 equals to double quotation work just as well. The third one, we have boolean, can only contain the values true or false. It uses bool, so to declare the boolean variable, we need to use bool, B-O-O-L, so just like the other programming languages. Bool is sunny equals true. Then the other one is bool is rainy equals to false. So the output of the default statement of true will be executed because the rainy is false. So the fourth one, we have the list, known as an array to other programming languages. So the examples in declaring variables, list, string, then the variable animal equals to horse, camel, cow, sheep, and goat. So the fifth one, we have the sets or set, similar to list, but it is an unordered collection of values. So we have here string. So the variable name here is names, which is equals to chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine. Next one, we have assigning to maps, a collection of paired values, which is the string and integers. So here is the examples, map, then string, comma, int, then the variable name, ages, equals to Bob, 36. So when declaring the value of integers, we don't need to use quotations because it is an integer. So we don't need to use only for strings. So we have here, both of here, we have the Bob 36, Mary 12, Susan 97, and Paul 75. We can both use this way of declaring variables. Next one, we have 7, the runes and grapheme clusters. So the usual way to express a Unicode code point is /uxxx, where xxx is a 4-digit hexadecimal value. For example, the heart character is /u 265. To specify more or less than 4 hex digit, place the value in curly brackets. For example, the laughing emoji is the /u curly bracket 1f606 and the close bracket. Last one here, the symbols. To get the symbol for an identifier, use a symbol literal, which is just the sign number followed by the identifier, which is the example here. We have the sign number, then radix. In the second one, we have the sign number bar. So that's all you need to know about the statements and assigning values to variables. So moving forward to expressions and operators. Expressions are constructed from operands and operators. The operators of an expression indicates which operations to apply to the operands. The order of evaluation of operator in an expression is determined by precedence and associative of the operators. An operator usually has one or two operands. Unary operators work with only one operand. Those who work with two operands are called binary operators. So we have here dart minus sign, which is the subtraction operator used to change the sign of the value. So we have here the int a equals to 1. So we printed it with a negative sign to a variable a. So it displays -1 when executed. So in print number 2, which we have the subtraction sign and open parenthesis, subtraction sign again, and the variable a with the close parenthesis. Then operations will be executed with the PEMDAS rule. So when negative times negative, it will become positive, so it will display +1 when executed. So let's move here to the second one, which is the dart assignment operator, the equal sign. Here is an example when assigning a variable values to a variable. So int x equals to 1. So the value of x is 1. So the next one is x equals to x plus 1. So the value of this when will be executed is 2, because x is equals to 1, then plus 1 equals to 2. So the value of x will be 2 when executed. We have here the third dart increment, so the plus plus. So just like I said before, those who work with two operands are called binary operators. So this is the binary operators, which is the double sign. So the increment, which is the plus plus, and the decrement, which is the minus minus. Increases 1 to the initial value increment, or decreases 1 to the initial value decrement. So x plus plus, which is the same as the x equals to x plus 1, and the y minus minus is the same as the y equals to y minus 1. So the next is that compound assignment operator consists of two operators, so which is here we have the examples of a plus equals to 3, which the same as a equals to a plus 3. So the other compound, here we have the operators including the following. We have the subtraction equals, multiplication equals, division equals, modulo equals, and so on. So we have here the symbols that are arithmetic operators. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, integer division, modulo, the remainder. Next one, that Boolean expression, which is the logical and, logical or, and negation. Number 7, we have here the comparison operators. Less than or equal, greater than and equal to or, and not equal to. We have here number 8, that bitwise operation. We have bitwise and, bitwise or, bitwise x or XOR, bitwise not, left shift and right shift. The ninth is Dart ternary operators, conditional statement. So we have here the condition, the statement 1, the statement 2. Conditional expression is a condition if it is true. So expression 1 will be executed. Else if the condition is false, then expression 2 will be the one to be executed. So we have here the Dart spread operators. So the triple dot provides a quick way to insert multiple values into collections. So we have here the declaring variables. We have here the var, data type, var, then the vals equals to 1 to 3. When we print vals, it prints 1 to 3. Then the second var equals to variable name vals2 equals to triple dot vals, then comma 1 to 3. I mean 4, 5, 6. Then if we print this vals2, it displays the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because the value of vals 1, 2, 3 inserted into the vals 2. So it executed the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is and is not operator used to check the type of an object at runtime. So we print D is base equals to print true, and print D is not base, print false. So The output when these codes will be true or false only. Next one, we have the Dart operator precedence, determine which operators are evaluated first. So we have here the A equals to 3 plus 5 times 6. So the answer will be the following. So the first one, we use the M-dash rule. So we multiply the 5 and 6 first, then the addition. So M-dash, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. So we use the multiplication first before the addition. The second one is the open brace 3 plus 5 close brace, then multiplied by 6. So the answer is the 48 because we follow the PEMDAS rule. We multiply the 6 to 5 and 6 to 3. So 6 times 5 equals to 30. Then 6 times 3 equals to 18. Then 18 plus 30 equals to 48. So next one is we have here the associativity rule. Determines the order of evaluation of operators with the same precedent level. So A equals to 9 divided by 3 times 3. So the multiplication, deletion, and modulo operator are left to right associated. So the expression is evaluated this way. The 9 will be divided by 3 and the answer will be multiplied by 3. Then the result is 9. Moving forward, we have here control flow statements. Control flow or flow of control is the order in which instructions, statements, and function calls being executed or evaluated when a program is running. The control flow statements are also called as flow control statements. In Dart, statements inside your code are generally executed sequentially from top to bottom in order that they appear. It is not always the case your program statements to be executed straightforward, one after another sequentially. You may require to execute or skip certain sets of instruction based on condition, jump to another statement, or execute a set of statements repeatedly. In Dart, control flow statements are used to alter, redirect, or to control the flow of program execution based on the application logic. One we have here, if statement allows a block of code to be executed when a specified condition is true. So we have here if, then the condition, and then the statement. Next is if-else statements. Executes a block of code when if condition is true and another block of code when if condition is false. So we have here if, then the condition. Inside the condition we have the statements, then else, and then the statements. Next we have here if-else if statement, also known as nested if-else statement. It is used to select one among several blocks of code to be executed. Here, condition is a Boolean expression that results in either true or false. If it is true, then statement inside if body will be executed. If it is result in false, it will scan to the next condition, which is the else if statement, and execute the statement in its body when condition is true. If it is result in false again, the same method will be done until the condition reaches else, meaning that none of the if-else conditions were true. Next, we have here the switch case statement. Evaluates an expression against multiple cases in order to identify the block of code to be executed. The expression inside the parenthesis is the variable to be evaluated to the different cases. All cases are inside the body of the switch statements enclosed with curly braces. When a case results in true, it will be executed and the program will be skipped other cases with the help of break. If none of these cases results in true, the default statement will then be executed. 2. We have here iteration statements. are used to execute the block of code repeatedly for a specified number of times. Iteration statements are commonly known as or looping statement. In Dart, basic for loop is similar as it in C or C++ and Java. The for loop takes a variable as iterator and assign it with an initial value and iterate through the loop body as long as the condition is true. Once the loop statements are executed for current iteration, the iterator is updated with new value, and if the condition is still valid, we loop another time. Here, we have initialized CTR with initial value of 1, and the next we check the condition CTR less than or equal to 5 for each of the iterations. If the test condition returns true, the statement inside the loop body are executed, and if test condition returns false, then the for loop is terminated. Next, we have the for in loop, used to execute a block of codes using the amount of elements a variable has a limit of the loop. In Dart, the for in loop takes an expression as iterator and iterate through the elements one at a time in sequence. The value of the element is bound to var, which is valid and available for the loop body. Once the loop statements are executed current iteration, the next element is fetched from the iterator, and we loop another time. When there is no more elements in iterator, the for loop is ended. For example, var counter equals 11, 12, 13, 14. For bar CTR in counter, print CTR. Here, the number of iterators or loops to be made only depends on the number of elements that are present in the list counter. There is no longer a need for condition and increment or decrement. Next, the while loop will execute a block of statement as long as the expression is true. While loop is useful when the number of iterations can be predicted beforehand. Here, we have initialized CTR and max CTR to 1 and 5 respectively. In the next statement, we have while loop that checks the condition of CTR less than or equal to max CTR for each of the iterator. If the test condition returns true, the statement inside the loop body are executed, and if test condition return false, then the while loop is terminated. Inside the loop body, we have incremented the CTR value by 1 for each if the iteration. Next, we have do while loop. Executes blocks of statements inside loop body first, and then test the condition for next iteration and execute next only if condition is true. Here, we have initialized CTR and max CTR to 1 and 5 respectively. In their statement, we have loop body inside a pair of curly brackets. After do keyword, statements inside loop body are executed first, then control is passed to the condition CTR less than or equal max CTR. Provide along with the while keyword for next iteration. If the test condition returns true, then control is passed again to the loop body for the next iteration. If the condition results in false, then loop is terminated and control is transferred to the next statement. Inside the loop body, we have incremented the CTR value by 1 for each if the iteration. Next, the jump statements, used to alter or transfer the control to other section or statements in your program from the current section. So we have here break statement. Gives you way to break or terminate the execution of loop containing it and transfer the execution to the next statement following the loop. In this program, the variable count is initialized as 0. Then, while loop is executed as long as the variable count is less than 10. Inside the while loop, the count variable is incremented by 1 with each iteration. Next, we have an if statement that checks the variable count is equal to 5. If it returns true, causes loop to break or terminate. Within the loop, there is a count statement that will execute with each iteration of the while loop until the loop breaks. Then, there is a final count statements outside of the while loop. Next, we have here the continue statements. Gives you way to skip over the current iteration of any loop. When a continue statement is encountered in the loop, the rest of statements in the loop body for current iteration are skipped and return the program execution to the very first statements in the loop body. It does not terminate the loop, rather restarts or continues it with the next iteration. So in this program, the loop condition is to keep iterating until CTR value is less than 10 and print number is 1, number is 2, and so on for each iteration. It has another condition where if CTR value is equal to 5, it will print 5 is skipped, followed by the jump statement continue. When continue is triggered, it will not exit the loop but rather start another iteration, skipping the statement next to continue. That's all for today, and thank you for watching. We have here the reference and members.